Hi there, it's Randy Boldt here again with my third campaign message. I'd like to thank all of you again for getting in touch with me and providing me with your great amount of support and your comments. Today perhaps is my most important message, and the message is all about how members have to take back ICCRC. Unfortunately, we've let it get out of our control, and we've more or less contracted the entire operation out to non-professionals. And so I want to go over my observations and the solutions. The first thing that I'd like to point out is that there are about 60 plus staff at ICCRC, and as far as I'm aware, not a single member, not a single immigration consultant is on staff. Can you imagine that in a law society or a college of nursing or with an accounting association? It would be impossible to think that. But what's happened is that there has been a wall built up within ICCRC staff that have said, keep members out. And we can't accept that. I mean, the most extreme example was recently where we hired a chief executive, and somehow all members were prevented from being interviewed for that job. Now that doesn't make any sense at all. We have to get back control of our organization, and one of the first things that I'm going to insist on if I'm elected is that members have to be recruited within ICCRC. That has to happen, and I commit that that will happen if I'm elected to the board. Perhaps the most important thing facing us at the moment is the loss of control of our organization, and a proposal that's being put forward to you in this election is that we reduce the number of board members from RCSCs as board members from 12 down to 7, and that we increase public interest directors from 3 to 5. You know, we're basically abrogating our responsibility of running ICCRC if we go in that direction, and I cannot understand for the life of me how we've even been presented with that. What is the idea behind it? Many of us, in fact, I hope most of us are aware of the history of CSIC, where we lost control to 2 or 3 board members who colluded with public interest directors to take away our control of CSIC. It got so bad that Minister Kenny had to personally intervene and stop CSIC from being the regulator for immigration consultants. We can't let that happen again. I'm not suggesting in any way that the existing board is thinking along those lines, but that will be the effect of doing that. We will be, in fact, giving up control to public interest directors, to staff, to anyone else except ourselves. We are a self-regulated organization, and we have to self-regulate, and that means we are in control. So really, whatever happens, I really ask all of you out there to vote against that motion. We cannot allow our directors' positions to be diluted as is proposed to us. Now the third thing is about what is the role of ICCRC. And a very strange thing happened when we had our first candidate's telephone call, and the person who began talking was the registrar. And he told all the people on the phone, all the candidates, I think 17 of us, that all we were allowed to talk about was was talking about protecting the public. And that's the only role for ICCRC. And I was shocked by that and stunned by that, because every single self-regulated body in Canada has 3 roles. One is to protect the members of the public, but the other role is to promote the industry and actually to promote members. Now I want to read you something from the Dental Association of Manitoba, and it says this: dentistry is currently structured with the Manitoba Dental Association performing 2 major roles. 1, protection of the public, and 2, advancement of the interests of the members. Now, that is true for any SRO, and it's true for us. They also have a 3rd role, and that is scope of practice. We don't have particularly a lot of tools to limit the scope of practice of people who are not members, but that's something that we need to work on. And a lot of discussion about that, but that's a key element to it. Now, we need to develop more more activities for ICCRC to promote the industry and to promote the interests of members. And I want to give you two ordinary kinds of things that we should be doing. Every law society is involved in political issues within their province. They're involved in lobbying the government. They're involved in discussing issues with the government. They're a key partner in government policy and government decisions. Now, we need ICCRC to be out there talking with the governments. One of the great things about what's happened is that ICCR has been given the mandate by provinces to be an authorized representative along with lawyers. Now, fortunately, every province in Canada has agreed to that. And we need to cherish that, and we need to build on that. And that means going out to provinces and working with them and developing relations with them. And we've abrogated our responsibility in that regard. I know in Manitoba, as far as I'm aware, in its 5 years, ICCR has been here once, and that's it. And that's not right. We have to get out there. We have a director of government relations, and he's never been here. So this kind of thing is not acceptable. So we have to get more involved in that. The last thing I want to talk about is a really easy thing for ICCRC to do, and that is to have a member lookup directory. Now, if you're in a law society, or if you're looking for a lawyer in St. John's, Newfoundland, who practices family law, you can look up into the local law society and find a lawyer's name, address, contact information, and what areas of law they practice. And if you want to find somebody who specializes in family law, you can do that. You don't have that ability with ICCRC. If you want to find somebody who practices, who's an expert in family immigration and Chicoutimi, who speaks Chinese, you can't do it. There's no such ability. If you want to find somebody who knows labor market impact assessments in Edmonton, you can't do it. It's not much to ask for any self-regulated organization to put that information out there for members and for the public. We're supposed to be helping the public, and that helps the public and it helps the members. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable and ordinary thing to do. Put down the name, address, phone number, contact information, areas of specialization, and language skills that are offered in that firm. In that way, we'll do a good job for the public and we'll do a good job for the members. So those are some of the things we can do. So it's really important. We have to get control of our industry, of ICCRC back, and I look forward to that. Thank you very much.